Steve the Amateur Historian.
Hey everybody, Steve the Amateur Historian here with you. How are you doing on this day? I was going to say lovely day, but it's just kind of cloudy and black because it's January. And I thought, because it's very interesting, I thought I'd bring you a little piece of sports. It's a sports coincidence. It's really what it boils down to. This is in relation to the history of the National Basketball Association, the NBA, which, of course, you all know I'm a bit of a basketball aficionado. Going back to when I was 10 and I would literally memorize sports statistics. But for the sake of this video and keeping within the history of the NBA, I noticed something that is very interesting and almost bizarre to agree. The odds of this really existing, and it does, it has to be an astronomical margin. You know, I don't know, 800,000 to 1 or some nonsense. And what I'm talking about is professional basketball stadiums known specifically as Veterans Memorial Coliseum. You had to know this is going to be in some way connected to my Blazers. In looking back at the history of the National Basketball Association, there are two teams that played in an arena that was specifically called Veterans Memorial Coliseum. These two teams were the Portland Trail Blazers and the Phoenix Suns, both teams of which no longer play in those arenas, at least, you know, as their main arena. Phoenix, I don't even remember what their stadium is called, but the Blazers moved into the Rose Garden, which is now the Moda Center. And there's a lot of very intriguing coincidences regarding Veterans Memorial Coliseum and then the Portland Trail Blazers and the Phoenix Suns, who both played in buildings that went by that name. Now, both the Portland Trail Blazers and the Phoenix Suns came into the NBA when there was a massive expansion out west. Up until the mid-'60s, there were only two teams pretty much west of the Mississippi, and they were both in California. There was the Los Angeles Lakers and the San Francisco Warriors. So there was a big effort to really start blossoming the NBA further west. So you have establishment of the Milwaukee Bucks, the Chicago Bulls. The Phoenix Suns come into being in the 60s. The Seattle Supersonics come into being. The San Diego Rockets, who eventually moved to Houston, are established in the late 60s. And then in 1970, the NBA adds three more teams: the Portland Trail Blazers, Cleveland Cavaliers, and the Buffalo Braves. The Buffalo Braves eventually moved to San Diego and became the Clippers, and then moved to LA and became the LA Clippers. So both the Blazers and the Suns came as a result of this massive expansion that happened in the mid to later 60s into the early 70s. And both teams, as I understand it, began playing in a building called Veterans Memorial Coliseum. And both teams played in their prospective Veterans Memorial Coliseums for almost the exact same period of time. I believe Phoenix played in theirs for one season longer than the Blazers played in theirs. So that's crazy. That's bizarre. But what is most intriguing about this is how these teams concluded playing in their prospective Memorial Coliseums. What I'm getting at is the Phoenix Suns finished playing. Their last season in their Veterans Memorial Coliseum was the 1991-92 season. 1992-93, they moved into America West Arena, a new arena. The Portland Trail Blazers, on the other hand, their final season playing in their Veterans Memorial Coliseum was the 1994-95 season. 1995-96, they moved into the Rose Garden. But here's what's really intriguing. The very last game that the Phoenix Suns played in their Veterans Memorial Coliseum was in the 1992 playoffs. It was Game 4, which they lost to the Portland Trail Blazers. Their final game played in their Memorial Coliseum, the Phoenix Suns lost to the Portland Trail Blazers, the other team that was playing in Veterans Memorial Coliseum, which that had to be bizarre. I know the Blazers and Suns played in the playoffs a few different years. Up until 1992, I know they played in 84, I know they played in 90, and I know they played in 92. And every game is being played at Veterans Memorial Coliseum, but it's obviously not the same building. So 1992, Phoenix loses their last game at Veterans Memorial Coliseum to the Portland Trail Blazers. Fast forward a couple of years, the Portland Trail Blazers, their final game is a game in the 1995 playoffs, which they lose to the Phoenix Suns. So I thought, that what are the odds of that happening? That the only two teams in the NBA that ever played in a Veterans Memorial Coliseum, each team lost their final game at home and was a playoff game to the other team that also played in a Veterans Memorial Coliseum. I just thought that was too wild, too crazy, too strange. And I remember the moment that thought came into my head and I was like, what? And I knew at that moment I had to do a video of some kind on my channel. And it's in relation to sports history, so it applies to my channel. So, anyway, I thought that was fun. I thought it was kooky. I thought you might enjoy that, whether you're a sports fan or not. And thanks for watching. Remember, as usual, like, share, subscribe, all that stuff. If you want to hit up my Patreon and help me financially so I can do a lot more stuff on my channel, that is very much appreciated. And till next time, guys, this has been Steve the Amateur Historian. Catch you later.